an iconic street photographer with a unique style, a self-taught photographer, a career spanning more than 50 years. And you said you and me have
I know
known
you
each other
since
for 40.
1985, I think.
Oh, my God. You had your first one-man show, 71.
Whatever I wrote is probably true, you know.
It says 71 or 77. So,
Well, no, one was with Jacob Deschen at a lab
okay.
in New York, and the other was at OK Harris.
Okay, so you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. A documentary artist in the tradition of a street photographer such as VG. There is an image here that you're going to see back up on the wall. That was like an homage to a video, you said.
Well, yes and no. There's a large difference between Ouija and myself. If you ever saw one picture I liked of his was The Critic, and The Critic is with that lady, that homeless-looking lady, bent over like this, and two fashionable women, don't know she exists. And if you saw the original print,
Yeah.
it's much different than the print you normally see, because he was really far away. And I'm the opposite. I get in as close as I can because all my pictures are actually full frame.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And you're famous for your mottos. It's to get in fast, get in close, and get out fast.
Yeah, but let's make it. I don't run, so getting out fast means
I know you had run a lot. You said that before.
I run?
Yeah, you run.
From what?
From your when you have taken photographs, you have been, sometimes you had to run.
No.
Oh, you said that before.
When?
40 years ago, you said that. Now you're old and now you maybe can't run.
I can run, but no, I never really.
Oh, you said that before, though.
I'm smart, but, you know.
Okay, yeah. You have an original voice and your own right, and you use flash.
Often, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the title of this exhibition, does it refer to the people you portrait or the choice of the photographs?
Well, it's actually...
I mean, both for me.
Yeah, it's what I like.
Yeah.
All those pictures in the show are some of my favorites.
Okay. And if you want a photographer, what would you do? Sociology, acting? Because...
I might have been a killer.
Yeah. You probably be a good...
Something like that, yeah.
But tell me, you didn't start with photography?
No, I went to college or maybe university, and I wasn't very good. I was mediocre, and there was nothing I was interested in, so I figured why not study acting? And the photography never entered my mind. The only reason that came about was at that period of time, the movie Blow Up came up, which I don't love as a movie. I'm not a big fan of Antonioni. So I started to take photo courses, and it was amazing that I did this because the only thing in that point that I'd done in my life is play sports. I couldn't care about anything else. All day long, homework didn't matter, sports. I was a pretty good basketball and baseball player. So I studied acting, and one day my teacher was nominated for Academy Award in the film The Producers. His assistant came, and he was this big guy, and he did Shakespeare. And I said, wow, with my Brooklyn accent, which was even heavier then, there's no way I can do Shakespeare. And I fell in love with being in the darkroom. I was terrible in the darkroom that, I made that print, even if it wasn't good. So that's how it started. And then I was smart enough or clever enough to realize to match my athletic ability with my photographic style. So I can get in very fast, move away fast, and get the picture, And also I'm like I'm a little courageous, so I'm a fist fighter type of character, so I was. So, I have fears, which you should have fears, but, if I felt like doing it, I did it, and I felt if it was super dangerous, I wouldn't do it. So, like one time I was in Peru, and I went into a courtyard where they have the courtyard here and a bull ring, they would call it, the building around. There was no one there at 10 in the morning. I never took my camera out. I walked away. But I can walk on the craziest street and feel comfortable, and I have a good nose for what's going on.
Yeah, we're coming back to that.
Shit. Okay. Go
Where did you get your inspiration from? I mean, you often mentioned your father, your childhood. As I understand it, your childhood was not that perfect. I mean, it was not a very artistic home, right?
No, that's not true.
But you have turned it into something.
No, but let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay. My father was, he never talked about his past. He was a gangster. I think he quit the game before I was born. And I always admired him, you know, and he hurt me a lot. And my mother, I'm not going to get into the whole thing. Some of you may know about my past. But I had the gangster mentality of even if you know what's going on in your house, you never say a word. So it all made me very angry, which I'm still angry to this day. But the thing is, it made me who I am. You know, I learned everything by secret means. I would listen late at night, you know, and I found out all these things that would just hurt me more, but I kept them all in. And my father was very artistic. Even though he had maybe a third grade education, he grew roses. He made tomato sauce for 3 days. He furnished the house with this ugly wallpaper that had like fur on it. I mean, he's an amazing guy. But, you know, he hurt me a lot, you know, so that's why nobody can hurt me. You can say anything about me, it doesn't hurt me, but I will get you back.
I know.
Even if it takes years.
Yeah,
I don't forget.
Never hurt me though. Most artists are influenced in the beginning by older or colleagues, photographers.
Yes.
How was it for you? I mean, which one?
Well, I guess my 4 main influences would be, all for different reasons, Lisette Modell, Tomatsu, William Klein, and Ed van der Elsken. It's very interesting because William Klein, I can't stomach. And I backed him against St. Patrick's Cathedral once because he deserved it. But that's another story for another lecture. Lisette Modell pissed me off. Tomatsu was great. And Ed van der Elsken is the best ever. I loved him, you know, admirably and unbelievably. And he was very complimentary to me. He called me a prodigy, and he said something else that I'll never repeat to anybody because it's personal between me and him. And I said, why? I wish I can talk to another photographer the way he talked to me. So my wife at the time said, maybe you will when you get older. So now I'm 78. I think I can do it. Okay.
I mean, the early ones, the early Haiti ones, I think it's quite, they're more classical. Yeah. Than what you have now. One important thing is also about artists and art that they have their own language, and it's difficult to get one, right? How do you define your language?
Well, look, I looked at a lot of photographs. I saw what I liked. I saw what I didn't like. I tried to figure out what lens people used, where they stood. And, you know, I realized early on I couldn't out Cartier-Bresson, but I can be the best Bruce Gilden. So I took all of that, you know, my athletic ability, the quote that when I first started, the first time I picked up a camera, I read the quote by Capra, if it's not good enough, you're not close enough. And I'd never really held a camera, but that quote resonated with me, and that's my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, so I would like to capture your soul.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So going more into photography, I mean, why is the street so important for you? How it became the street from the very
Well, I
first?
think originally the street is important because I'm basically shy. I don't like being the center of attention. If I'm at a party, I'll stand in the corner. I mean, I have an ego. I think I'm excellent at what I do. I work very hard to get to that level. No apologies, no regrets. And the street was a place I could just go out and I don't have to talk to anybody and take pictures. And also, the pictures that I responded to the most were probably the New York Photo League type characters, you know?
And you were always working alone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Until recently, the last X amount of years, I traveled with an assistant. Because to do the portraits, The camera's heavy, the Leica S, and they hold the flash. And it's also nice to have company, But I spent almost all the time alone in strange places, tough places. And, you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to have problems.
And yeah, do you think New York has been the best place for you has offered you the most?
Well, early on, yes. Now it's a zero for me. So, it's changed. It's more homogeneous. The people aren't as courageous. People, it's not me any longer.
Okay.
Like I said years ago, when I started photography in the Lost and Found project, I photographed the heart of the city. Now I photograph the heart of the individual.
Yeah. Okay.
So, look, when you're doing something, you have to constantly evolve. People who are very good at doing what they do, if they continue to do the same thing without evolving, that's why I switched to color. I do a lot of more formal portraits. They don't do it the same. They don't have the same passion, the same desire. They've already done it.
About taking portraits. You give a voice to people on the fringe of the society, and it doesn't feel you're on I don't know the English word for it, but
say it in Swedish. I won't understand that.
For safari, suburban safari. I think it feels really. Yeah.
What's suburban safari?
Yeah,
all we need is a surfboard now. God, what?
No, but it doesn't. You feel. It feels real when you're there. I mean, you're not there like a tourist on the street.
Well, that's an interesting point.
And the people you portrait, you allow them to shine. For people that it's not that rarely otherwise get that,
Well, the point is, a lot of people talk about things, but when push comes to shove, they're not there. I'm there, okay? There's a lot to discuss about this. For example, Diane Arbus was a good photographer, but she was an outsider. Poor little rich kid. She looked at them as curiosities. They were the aristocrats. I don't look at them as aristocrats. I always like the underdog. That's me. I'm photographing me with these people, okay? Some of them may be more damaged physically than I am, but I was a drug addict. I've been through a lot, okay? My mother committed suicide. I've been through the ringer, okay? And yet I took all these negatives and made a positive out of it. Mm. So anything I do, my soul is in it. That's my family, I'm interested in outsiders, people. I think too many people give lip service to certain things, but they don't. When push comes to shove, they're not there. Oh, that's great. Oh, it's trendy. Oh, I gave money to. Hey, fuck you. Okay, the thing is, I'm there. I go, I show them, I talk to them. Some of the people in the Midlands, no one pays attention to them. And one of the ladies who I photographed, she's not in the show, but a good picture of mine, portrait. She asked to see the picture, and she said to me, "Oh, I'm beautiful." And she has seen many better days than this. So I give them something. I pay attention. That's not why I do it. I don't consider myself a humanist, because I think most of the humanists are the worst human beings alive. I mean, Gene Smith, you give a prize to Gene Smith. He left his family destitute in Westchester. I mean, he was the hardest guy to deal with, and that's a human? I mean, to me, he's not human. I may be blunt, but I'm human. I'm there.
Quoting you again.
No, don't. Because I could change my mind 3 minutes later.
I'm known for getting close, and the older I get, the closer I get. And you're always talking about the closeness, the close distance as the truth. That you're getting the truth.
Well, I don't know if I'm getting the truth. I don't know if I ever said that, but I can't say I didn't, because I don't remember everything I've said. No. But to me, when you're close, the picture is more dramatic. It's stronger. And that's what I respond to. Photography is a visual art. A lot of people today, they think, oh, I have this great concept. Oh, yeah, you have this great concept. And then they do a shit job realizing it. So who gives a fuck about the concept? it's what's in the frame. It's not about process. It's not about talking that, oh, I'm showing this family here and look at them. I want to see it done well. If you do it well, you've achieved your job. If you haven't, then you're not very good. I'm very critical, and when I go to shows, I hope I don't see something excellent, but if it's excellent, I take my hat off and say, wow, you did a great job.
So why flash? When did you?
Why not? No,
when did you decide to use the flash and use? I mean, not more than. I mean, the flash is just a form of. You use it more. Just more for just lighting up something. You use it.
But look, I like how the flash looks. Okay. Also, when I first took pictures in New York City, since I work in very crowded areas, the flash helped me
focus,
emphasize what I wanted to emphasize. Okay, and since I'm not a technician, I'm not stupid technically, but I'm not a technician. I was afraid to use the flash. Okay, so it took me years from the time I thought I wanted to use a flash until I finally used the flash. Okay. And to me now, it's part of my, it's who I am. And, I think I use it well, and the portraits are done differently than the candids. Like, that's different than something else that I did previously. But to me, I like the emphasis of, I want to emphasize what's important in the picture. And the picture for me has to be formed well and have a strong emotional content. And my ex-assistant said to me, people should see where you start with some of these people and where you end up. But that's because I have a defined look I want. Hey, look, the world is not a great place. And like the guy over here in England, to me, he was dying. I saw him in his shorts, thin legs. He could have talked to me for 2 hours. We talked for a half hour. I made his day, That's not why I did it, but I was interested. To me, I imagined him going back to his lonely room, watching a small black and white television, and he needed to talk to someone, and I needed to talk to him. So we made a good pair.
Yeah, I think that's your one of your best talents, to read people and to go.
It's a good one. I have it. Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah. Since you started, you have done.
Take the picture over here.
Yeah.
That's in Overtown, which is, until they broke it up now, the craziest place ever. People are shooting drugs in their neck on the main street. It's like cops they don't even give a shit. And I took a picture of her, and I didn't like it. So I made my assistant. We drove around. We found her again, and I got that picture. Because in my in my head, I know what I want to achieve. I got it in my head. I've seen what I want. That's my good friend, King Biz.
Yeah, this is bikers, right?
That's Murder, and that's Killer. All my good friends. They become my family.
Coming back to your friends.
Yes.
Since 1990, you have done 31 books.
Okay. Well, Rocky's done probably 800 books.
Yeah.
My good friend Martin Parr's done 200, so okay.
Yeah.
But how many books are really good by anybody or by myself? Some of them, okay, not all. Okay.
But I want to ask you about your first book. You know what your first book is? Which one it is?
Well, you tell me.
It's Haiti. It's the small portfolio that
Pentti did. Yeah.
Pentti Samalahti did. How did that happen? How did you find each other?
We both went to the Houston Photo Fest.
Okay.
And Pentti's a great guy. I love Pentti.
Yeah.
We're friends to this day. I don't keep relationships going except with my wife and my 2 cats. But I still talk to Martin all the time. But Pentti, I see him every couple of years.
Yeah.
So at Houston, I was a big star, unknown. And I went there in '84, and I had a show in Finland at the museum, and that's how I came to Stockholm often to do workshops, etc. in the 80s. And Penty printed that very nice little portfolio, which I still have about 8 copies. And I love Penty, he's a great man.
I just thought it was very funny that he was the one who made your first book.
Why?
Yeah, because he's a
Now
friend.
I'm interviewing him. Go ahead.
No, he's also a friend of mine since then, in the mid 80s.
He's a wonderful person.
And that
I'm
he
critical,
he
but I
saw
also
your images.
can talk well of people who deserve it. Okay. Problem is, not most people don't deserve it. Okay, go ahead.
So about this show.
Yes. Which show? Whitey's?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you come up with the formats of your print? Because I think when they have became so big now, they're more expressive in this larger format. Much more.
Let's put it like this. I always like big prints, okay, for my images. And for the portraits, it's necessary. I mean, it has to be 30 by 40, though I just sold one 16 by 20 to somebody in France. But if you want to see the pictures, they're good large. It's not, I don't choose to make them large just because they're larger. They're more powerful, okay? And with the portraits, the color portraits mostly, even though I have some in black and white, it's a necessity because the camera is so sharp and so detailed, you see everything. Also, you have to be a certain distance to view it, okay? Otherwise, you'll see every little hair, everything. But that was my concept from the beginning. And they often have a show coming up in Munich where some of the prints are going to be, about 50 by 75? And with this camera, you can go even beyond that. And the bigger they go, they look really good. They don't break up. With the smaller cameras, you have a limit. But my pictures seem to hold up even,
Yeah, but, okay. I'm not so keen about the quality. I just think the expression of them are so... so good.
Yeah, but it's necessary.
Yeah, okay.
Because to me, I'm about expression. I don't care that... I'm not an Ansel Adams fan, okay? If you just have quality and you don't have content, emotion, it means nothing to me.
Let's see here. Where am I?
Come on, you still got 3 pages.
Yeah, I know.
I'm here all day, so...
Yeah. Okay. So, you're referring all the time to use a street that your childhood and everything, you're street smart and so on, and you can read situation. And you've been doing quite hardcore series about the Yakuza, the bikers and so. How do you go into this kind of situation? How do you get their confirmation to do?
Well, I'm honest.
Yeah,
I'm
but
blunt.
Tell us.
Also, well,
most of us, have quite hard time to go into this kind of situation to say, "Hey, I'm honest. I just want to."
I don't tell them I'm honest.
No, okay.
I'm just.
So how do you do?
Well, I'm just me.
Tell us about you.
Well, I can't tell you everything.
No.
I may be not telling you the truth. No, but anywhere I go, any of the groups, I'm comfortable going in. Okay, yeah. So, like for example, I never thought I would do bikers. Okay, because in the past, in Rochester, when Magnum was doing a project called whatever it was called in the USA, we did it a few years ago. I ran upon some bikers, white, who I went over there. I asked one guy, "Can I take your picture?" He said, "Yeah." 2 bikers came out, the president of the club and his little bulldog friend that wanted to bury me. He was ready. Just had to take the collar off, and I would have been. We would have had an altercation. And he said, "You can't photograph here." So I said, "Why not?" I said, "I asked that gentleman." He said, "It's my party." I said, okay, it's your party. I can't photograph here. He said, why don't you come in the bar and have a drink? So I said, are you buying? He said, no. How many people are going to respond to him that way? That didn't work out, okay? But eventually, in other situations, it works out. I'm honest. If you're fucking with me, I'm going to tell you you're fucking with me. I don't give a shit who you are. And I've had 2 guns put to my head in life, neither one in photography, one by my father. Um, and I'm not fearless, but I'm pretty fearless. And if I'm comfortable doing it and I want to do it, I'm going to force myself to do the best of my ability to get in there. And they love me because, if like what the bike is, I love them. They become my family. They love my wife. I would trust her there at 4 a.m, that they'd protect her and everything. We have a great relationship. And if someone is pissing me off, I tell them that. I'm blunt. I'm not a wallflower, okay? And they trust me and they like me. And I'm also respectful. I'm always polite.
We were talking about for lunch, at our lunch, about you being arrogant, and I said, no, you're not. And and we said, I think you're pretty sweet and humble.
I am. But the thing is, if you fuck with me, I'll take your head off. And my wife warns me when you lecture something, Bruce, tone it down. Okay, but the thing is, that's what I like about that community. Once you're accepted, everybody, excuse me, they treat you like you want to be treated, okay? You have to earn it. But once you got it, you have it. And if they have to do something, okay, they have to do it. I'm the same. So, it's a good match.
When and why did you decide to go color?
To go color? Well, that was a tough decision because I basically see in black and white. I have trouble distinguishing differences in shades. I may say that's this and it's not. It's something else. I realize no one can do the same thing forever. If you look at people who, I'm not going to mention any names, but who did very good photographs at a certain age and they're constantly doing the same picture, it pales to what they did earlier on. You don't have the same passion. You have to change. So I figured, why not color? Okay, so I started to do color, and I started to like it. But every essay I start, whether it's Naples, which I chose to do in black and white, or Athens, which I mixed black and white and color, or Korea, which is not up here, all of these were done in like 7 days or something, okay? None of them are complete. I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to go back to any of these places to do more work, but I always decide beforehand. In the portraits, it's very useful color for me because when I do women, like if you look at her, look at the lipstick, look at the hair, look at the eyes, it's all in the details. Men generally, unless they're a transvestite or transgender or something, they don't have as much color. Okay, so that guy, look at him over there.
Look at him.
He's over there. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was a factory worker in the Midlands. His head looks like an archaeological dig where they found a pot from 200 years ago and it's all cracked. And that's how I see. I see in images. I see things that say something else to me than what the person is. These aren't real people for me. They're symbols for what, him. It's a comment about education. I mean, the father was so sweet. He held him for 20 minutes for me. The guy was constantly moving. All he wanted to do was talk about the semi that he saw, the semi truck. So, I had a great rapport and he wore that hat. Because I think too many people go to college, that shouldn't go to college. So it draws in something that I feel in life that I saw that I didn't expect to see, okay? Or this guy he just went off, or the boy crying here. His cow just lost in the state championship, and the mother went crazy. She punched the cow in the face. And I said, oh, this is my opportunity. So I went over to the mother and I said, you should live in New York. You would be perfect, okay? So I'm fast thinking to get what I need done. Then I said, do you mind if I photograph your son? She said, no. So then when I got him over there, I felt badly for him because, he was crying and everything. He was so upset. I said, listen, when you get to be my age, you'll see that this is just a bump in the road. It means nothing. I know you're upset now. I said, calm down. And then luckily on the fifth or sixth picture, I got that beautiful, the teardrops of him. Mm-hmm. And the bikers, how did I get to the bikers? There was a big demonstration for, what's his name, George Floyd. And I heard all these bikes. So I went behind, it was in New Jersey, Brooklyn, at Barclays Center. And I said, listen, I really want to photograph you guys. I mean, what do I have to do? And it's been 4 years now. Unfortunately, the last 8 months, I haven't seen him too much because I've been traveling. We live upstate, and I'm getting older. I don't feel like driving home at 5 a.m. for 2 hours, falling asleep and becoming a dead man instantly. So, but I still see them, and I love them. I don't know if I answered your question, but...
You joined Magnum Photo 98.
Is that one? 98?
Yeah, and became a full member 2002.
Mm-hmm.
What are the benefits for being a member of Magnum?
Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah.
Well, that's another story, okay? When it was difficult for me, Martin was trying to get me in,
Martin Park.
Yeah. And they weren't ready for me, they didn't know me. It's just the photographs. So then eventually I got a call from the guy who was the head of the New York office. He said, you should apply. I said, why?
Julian, right?
What?
No, come on.
Okay. I said, why? He said, because Jim Knockway and Alex Webb, one is on the artistic side, the other is on the documentary side. Both would like to have you in the agency. So, okay. I went around to all the offices, London, Paris, New York. I met X amount of photographers. I only lost my, not temper, but I only blew my cool little once because somebody said they didn't like this, and I told them I disagree with you. And then I became a member. It was fascinating at first because, sitting in a room with all these people that some of them you admired, some you weren't that admirative of, but to sit in a room with all these well-known people and, hear all their thoughts and what they have to say. Yeah. So that was...
But how does it benefit you? I mean, how does it...
Well, it benefits me in that I can take part in certain projects. They get me commissions. But sometimes now I think that maybe it's time to part, because we don't see alike.
Okay. Now you got a lot of commissions, and how do you approach them? Your freedom for them. You
depends what the commission is.
Yeah, you shoot a lot of fashion now.
Well, I've done that for 20 years.
Yeah, and
they got me the first fashion job. Yeah. David Strettle, his wife Ann, was one of the fashion editors at the Stylist for the Times. So I did a few. The picture of Trump was on my first fashion job. I saw him come out of Trump Tower, and I said, get him. So we got him. I like doing fashion. You eat well. You meet pretty girls. It's just fun. So, but now at the point that I am now, I've gotten assignments where I'm able to put more of my vision in. I've done the lookbook for Gucci. I'm the only one backstage for Balenciaga. So with Gucci, you have a format. When you do the lookbook, this is what you have to do, and you have to do it this way. So I always ask, what do you want? And I'll try to give it to you because I'm a professional. And I enjoy doing it. In certain cases, the pay is very good, which enables me to pay for my own projects that I want to do, that people aren't sending me to. And I enjoy it. What can I say? I mean, these are old fashioned pictures. That was in Israel. That's in Brooklyn. That one was for sunglasses. I have a girl that's blind in one eye wearing sunglasses. So, you could put your little touches everywhere.
Okay. But looking back to your older work, do you ever find that image you once loved have lost something with you?
Very rarely.
Yeah.
The good ones are good.
Yeah.
But that's a good question, because some pictures that I really liked when I started photography, I don't like as much now, because I think I have grown. And certain things are too obvious. Like, I don't like one-line joke pictures. I'm not fond of those at all.
So when you're shooting between shots, how do you pick the good ones? How you
When you mean when I'm out there with a camera?
No.
Well, you mean when I'm looking at work?
Looking at
it jumps off the contact sheet.
Yeah.
Or it jumps off the computer or whatever.
But what are you looking for? I mean,
you see it. Everything seems to work. You could look 100 times. Look, Lost and Found was a different issue, all right? Lost and Found, and this is all looking back now. This is not, it may not be the reality, okay? But looking back, I missed a lot of shots, probably because I was more concerned in doing shots that had flash, that had a certain dramatic power, than maybe were good in themselves, okay? Here's Lost and Found, okay?
Yeah.
All good pictures. This one is a cliche, even though people love it. The others are strong. I stand behind. They should have been in a book, my first book, but they weren't. So I think I was
in the first. You mean
Facing New York? Yeah. Though they would be different. They would look different. They look older. They look, in my case, they look like they were shot earlier in time. So I went back and I looked at like 2,000 rolls that I had, and I realized that I'm missing 350 rolls. That killed me. And I know some of them I'm definitely missing, because I saw pictures on the contact sheet and I don't have the roll. Okay, so much for organization and drugs. Okay, but the thing is, so it was terrible, but the thing was, that's who I was at this point, okay? And I didn't really become, I guess, Bruce Gilden, as is known today, until later, okay? But when I saw these, none of these would I call iconic. Whereas the later ones, I have some that I would consider to be iconic. They're all very good, okay? Whereas the Haiti, even though I have a few iconic ones here, okay, in my work, okay? I would consider, as strong as anything I have. More classical, but strong, okay? So that, when you look at something, sometimes you say, well, 1 second, I look at this contact sheet. Oh, that's really close. That's really close. That's really close. But you can look at it 100 times. It's not really going to get better. Okay, if you have a vision and you know what you look. What really is crazy for me is to see these people who some get large reputations and they don't even know what the fuck a good picture is. They don't realize that you have to have the background and the foreground in sync. There's a pole coming out here, or that's there, or whatever. I also don't like pictures that are too perfect. So the trick is to get, for me, I don't worry about it, but in my sight, okay? Here, see this picture over here?
Yeah.
Okay, now if you look at that picture, I took, I don't know, 3 or 4 pictures of him. Now, I'm smart enough to realize that I wanted him in between the houses. I didn't want the house blocking, coming into his body.
No.
A lot of photographers that don't have my experience, oh, I got the picture, he's bent over. They don't realize that. And this is a snap decision. So that's, I think, what separates the men from the boys. And viewers, unless you're really a photography connoisseur, you may not even realize that.
Before you said you were shy at the lunch.
No, now I'm still shy.
Oh, you
but
grow up fast. Okay.
Well, you have to. You want it, you'll open your mouth. Okay, I understand that. Okay, Also, I'm much more secure in what I do.
Yeah.
At that time, I was a total novice. Who the fuck? What am I doing? I mean, I'm going to disturb you. Now I know what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say this is what I'd like. He was crazy, so it was a little difficult, but we got through it. That was in Detroit. But to me, what I like in a picture, a candid picture for me, I can't talk for anyone else because everybody else can do something different that I can't do or don't want to do or not competent enough to do, is to make these things like parts of bodies and the whole organic. So your eye goes from here to there to there. It's not like jumping like an EKG, going like this. I have atrial fibrillation, but now mine is so low, it doesn't go up and down. Okay, but the thing is, that's the trick.
So that's what you're looking for, also.
Well, no, that on the contact sheet,
Yeah.
you see that naturally. My eye is so tuned to that.
Do you ever show your portraits for the portraits ones?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you for him? Did you show the images?
I
later
showed him
for him?
Fotografiska.
Excuse me?
Did you say, did I show them?
Yeah, after you had taken the photograph.
Show them?
Yeah.
In some cases, I've sent people if I get their address.
Yeah?
I always send a picture.
And what do they say about the portraits?
They usually like it, you know? It's funny because that's what I said, in the English lady who's seen better days,
Yes.
she just looked in the camera and she says, aren't I beautiful? So what happens in life, that's a good point. People sit in their chair and they say, how the fuck can you do this? Excuse my French, but my wife is French. And they don't realize what goes on in life, okay? Just because they might think someone isn't beautiful, that doesn't mean that person doesn't think that they're beautiful, okay? Or they want to think that they're beautiful, all right? The toughest people are the ones that are beautiful, really beautiful, because they'll pick a little blemish here that, God, I didn't even see what you're talking about. Or I did a sunglass campaign with Blondie recently for Cutler and Gross. And I showed her the pictures as we're going along, and it was a couple hours. We had a good rapport. She poo-pooed two of the pictures at the end. She wouldn't let him run. No. And there was nothing wrong with those pictures. But to me, she's vain. And she doesn't realize she's 72. She looks great for 72, but you're 72 fucking years old. What do you expect? And believe me, I'm conscious to make her look good.
Yeah.
That's a job. That's not me looking for whatever I'm looking for, okay? So, she failed the test for me. So, and I have confidence, I can talk to anybody, you know.
Some photographers, artists do their best work sometimes very early.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I wanted to do a show of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like for me, Nan Goldin.
We won't discuss her. Okay.
No, but when she did her first work,
which I'm not going to comment.
No, but
I'm not fond of her.
And some artist, whatever, if it's music or whatever it is, make a hit, right? And then they have really hard time during their career to come back.
Two reasons.
But some just getting better and better.
Like me. Okay.
Are you?
No, but it's a fact.
Really, this is something.
It's a fact. Whether you like my portraits or you don't like them, or you like my candid, I've gotten better. Okay, I'm more skilled because I really care. Okay, and I think I had the potential. I never reached my potential until maybe later on. It's not a good thing to have a success early on.
Exactly.
I don't think it's good because then you start to believe what everybody says about you, okay? And for me, even though when I went to the Houston Photo Fest, where right after I met you, I was the star of the show of unknown photographers, okay? That's where I met Martin. They had that big show, Chris Killip, all good photographers, okay? I think you start to believe your reviews, and I don't think that's good. Now, I don't believe in mentioning names, but there was another photographer. I wanted to do a show, but I'm so bad to organize things, of 5 photographers who had their success early on and never reached anything, and 5 like me who've worked their whole career and have had a steady flow. You can say the pictures have been good all along, some better than others. And I wouldn't say which one was which, okay.
Yeah.
So now there was another photographer who had a big splash with his first work. And I said to Martin, that's it for him. And I'm right, because I can see what people responded to and how he photographed. And getting to Nan, to me, the music has a lot to do with those images. And the images, like you said, haven't gotten better. They got really bad.
I haven't said that, but I think it's hard to.
You did say that without saying that, okay? But
I think it's hard when you have like such a big success in the beginning.
well, it also depends what you have inside you, because now I'm thinking about sports, okay? Sports, LeBron James, no matter what you think of him, when he was in high school, everybody knew that this guy is going to be one of the best ever, and he's proven it.
Yeah.
And I photographed him for Nike, okay, and at 40, he's still proving it. So it depends your character.
Yeah, but you do understand what I mean.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and are you more curious now than you were when you started? And how do you retain your passion for?
Well, look, I read a comment that passion burns out and love lasts forever, and I'm passionate and I still have it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because I'm not a Renaissance man. There are only 3 things in life I knew about: drugs, sports, and photography. And I love movies, so I drew a lot from movies, all right? And as I said to you before, earlier at lunch, I said that my writing skills are so poor that my French wife laughs at them. I mean, she's good at, she speaks English fluently, but they're really poor. So I have the propensity to have a much stronger visual side. And I didn't realize that until I started photography. But to me, it's easy to see what's good, in my opinion, and what's not good, and why it's good and why it's not good. So I don't know. I don't think I'm any less curious. The only thing now is the battle against time. Time is, I'm going to die one of these days. And the other things, what you lose in physicality, you gain in experience. Like I'm still super fast. I mean, I was at the inauguration outside. I was going like this, but I can't bend as low. So you have to realize, how do you make the picture you want to make? And you have to also be accepting that your style changes a little because of your physical capacity.
That's interesting.
So I'm a student of the game. I don't even have to think about it. It just goes, It's like I could lecture 100 times and I'll say the same thing about the pictures without even thinking about it. Whereas I heard Larry Sultan, who was great, and I love Larry Sultan. This is not any negative thing. It's just he was like a stand-up comedian, sort of like I can be, but he had everything programmed. You felt that he learned it like this. Mine is more a little looser. It's just difference in character.
What about working on the street now? Has it changed over the years? I mean, today, when I think I was in Paris last year, I took a photograph of someone, an old lady laying down on a bench. And a guard, the security of this institution, saw me take that photograph. And they went, it became a circus of old people coming to me. Why did you take this image? Why? And it was very funny that it was in France. And I tried to tell them that this is the country of street photography. And
Yeah, but
and
they're very rigid there.
yeah. So, but people has become more,
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the different? Let's say 30 years ago.
Well, I don't do as much street photography as I used to do. Okay, but it just happened to me at the inauguration. Though I went to one ball, a Spanish ball, and when I started street photography, I started an essay that no one has ever seen. I did like 4 pictures of women's legs. Like one woman would have bird-like legs, and little skirt, older women. It's not like. So I'm always a little embarrassed, I have to admit, to bend down and take these pictures because I have a feeling that people might think I'm a perverted, okay? So it was the end of the night. I strained my calf on that night, that day. I was limping around just last Friday, not this Friday, the Saturday before, sorry. And I see this lady wearing a dress, and I said, I like that. So I'm standing there, Bruce, do you take it? Do you not take it? Okay, I'm taking it. So I bend down, I take a vertical. The dress is long, it's not like she's exposing anything.
No.
I'm about ready to leave. I go over to where my assistant is on the other side of the room, on a corner. And this lady starts coming over, not her, and screaming at me that you're a pervert. And I said, listen. I said, first of all, calm down. She said, I'm going to get I said, get all the security you want. I mean, I took a picture, great. You don't like it, too fucking bad. And I just walked away. But I'm conscious of it, and I think I've heard stories by other people. Not even this year, 5 years back. If you photograph kids, don't even bother. I mean, it's, I don't photograph kids, so, I'm pretty safe that way. And it's surprising too, because everybody has a phone. So you can be taking pictures of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But people aren't that smart, so,
So let's end up soon. So what is the best thing being Bruce Gilden?
It's not easy.
No.
The best thing, the tough thing is, I said if I can't do it anymore, I'll quit. Because I don't, it's not like being a boxer who's at the top of his game and then he comes back and he's a shell of himself. So you have to realize when you can't do it any longer, because then I'd really worry, because what am I going to do? I think the nice thing is that I stuck with it, and I've done a lot of good pictures. I'm super well known, and I can smile that I made a choice. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to make money, and I did it because all I care about is the pictures. I don't care about, if you offered me $100,000 job for a couple of days and I had something I really wanted to photograph, I'll go to what I wanted to photograph. So I've earned my spurs, I'm courageous. I think, everything I thought I knew, I learned that I think I'm correct.
Many photographers ends up with a book of flowers. I mean, a lot of you, Martin and everybody has done a book of flowers. What's your plans for the future?
I don't know.
Any project?
Yeah, there's a lot of projects. One I've been trying to do for 30 years, which I won't mention because I'm very bad at organization. I still want to continue. I don't call them sex workers, the prostitutes. So I'm in conversations with people in Colombia. Maybe I go several other places because I've already been in Colombia. Eastern Europe seems, I'll go anywhere, to do it.
But do you have any dreams project that you haven't done?
Yeah, I have one. That's the one that I won't mention. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been 30 years, and I know how I want to do it. Be elegant pictures of brutal situation. So, typical to what I believe in. Is that it? That's all your shots?
Yeah.
We have any questions? I guess you want to ask? Any questions? That's it.
There is a lot of questions. Do you have a microphone? Oh, that's great. Yes.
What do you think about AI?
I can't hear you.
AI.
I don't think about it.
Say something,
Um,
please.
Well, look. No, I don't really think about it. Look, they said the same thing about digital. The portraits are all digital, and the only reason I used digital camera at that time was because of the fact that they only made the Leica S in digital. So I felt that if I used a digital camera, I wouldn't take a situation to the end. Okay, because I look and I see, oh, it's pretty good, I can go. But if I didn't use a digital camera with the portraits, I would have probably 25% of the pictures that I have, because I would have cropped off an ear, or let's say the form was great, but the intensity wasn't in the eyes. So, I had this conversation years ago with my ex-assistant, when AI wasn't as prevalent, but still, you could remove things digitally. And he seemed to think it was like dodging and burning, so I guess it depends how far you go. Like I just saw the portrait of Trump, and I always wanted to photograph Donald Trump, okay? And the portrait, my wife says the guy was influenced by me, but he's got it all wrong, the portrait. Not Trump, the guy who made the portrait. It looks like a cartoon. There's, you don't have the reality there for me. So, I've seen people years ago put two things together, like a cat is huge and, the background is small. I'm not into that, but if it works, it's okay. What can I say? Like all my pictures are full frame, except maybe one or two. And my assistant made a beautiful picture, and he used only part of the frame. So if it works, I guess it's okay. Depends how much work you do, but I'm not an AI guy, okay? I think it's a very dangerous thing in life also, but in other ways, it's very beneficial to society, for health, other things, issues. So, I don't think too much about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is that it? This is an easy
No.
crowd.
Yeah. You.
Well, I have a hard question
Hard for you or hard for me?
for both of us, I think, in a way.
As long as it's intelligent, I don't mind. If it's not
Okay.
intelligent, I don't answer it.
Listen, I'm from the documentary tradition. I worked all my life with that.
I don't know
And,
whether to say that's good or I pity you. Go ahead.
You can pity me, but I was a press photographer, and the thing was, you can never cheat as a press photographer, I think. But today, there are so much cheating in photography.
What do you call cheating? though?
Cheating. For example, we have photographers that use Photoshop, taking away things in the
Yeah,
picture.
I'm not for that.
No, of course. So, of course you aren't. But how about the truth in photography? How much, for example, do you arrange?
Well, look. Let me cut you off because I don't want to get into a conflict here. Okay, but the thing is, there are guys and I tested this with the New York Times. All right. Let me move my chair. So there's a guy in my agency, I won't mention names, that, he's against staging. Okay, I'm not. If I see something and I like it, I'll stage it, okay? My early pictures, I never did that because I didn't have the opportunity. My later pictures, like I might tell a guy, well, hold that, or can you move over here, or you can do this or do that, okay? To me, what's truth? Truth depends on how you look at something, okay? There's no real truth, okay? Now, the New York Times will not publish something if you supposedly arrange it, right? So I tested them. I had to go to the Philadelphia Inquirer and do some portraits of people inside and look for kiosks where they sell the papers. So I told them, I moved that bundle of papers 6 inches. I mean, just to make it, I didn't do anything. I moved it from here to here. They won't publish the picture. I laughed at them. I mean, how far do you draw the line? I think the bigger problem is, look, I'm not a big photojournalist man, okay? Look, yet there are photojournalists like Gilles Perez that was a very good photographer. I don't want to see just pedestrian. I don't want to see that in art either. I want to see someone who has a vision that goes further than that, So for me, there are people who are photojournalists very good. The others, like I won't mention names, that had a lot of notoriety. I don't find them very good, I used to ask the question, oh, you're publishing this stuff in Haiti? I wasn't with Magnum. Why don't you publish mine? My pictures are better and they're different. It's not the standard 1, 2, 3. So that's it. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, in a way, but I'm a pessimist, I can't believe anything you see in papers today.
Well, could you believe it at any time?
Did you? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
When was the last time you believed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years ago?
10 years ago.
I don't think it was any different then than now,
You don't?
right?
You don't?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe. Well, what did Aesop say? And he's a lot older than us. Believe nothing of what you see and what you hear, and only half of what you see. I mean, that's the reality. Just because you say it doesn't make it true. Or you see it, that doesn't make it true. It's also, it leads to something else. I'm very particular, very critical, okay? If I do a very good picture, form-wise, okay, very good, okay? Sometimes it's so good that it looks staged. And that's why I like to have the organic pictures with arms cut off and everything, because it doesn't look staged. That doesn't mean you can't stage it. So, we could talk about this all year long. What about that? Yeah. What about that?
How many pictures did you take there? This is a staged picture.
No, it's not.
Very staged.
You know why it's not? It doesn't matter anyway.
No?
Because they did it, and I took 8 pictures of the thing. I didn't tell them to do that.
Okay.
They did that. What I did is, I'll tell you because I'm blunt. I don't give a shit. It's a great picture, so I don't care what anyone thinks. I know what I think. The thing is, they did it, and I said, can you hold it, through an interpreter, because they're Yakuza. But I didn't tell them to do that. They did that. But who cares if I told them to do it? I wouldn't care. If it's a great picture, visually it's good. I asked him, can you walk between the buildings? Because I took 4 pictures. I couldn't get what I wanted. So I have something to look at that makes a statement that I feel is much stronger than a document if I didn't do it well. It doesn't matter to me. Look, photography for me is you learn from the past. Okay? Now, I was thinking about, I'm not going to say that, okay, because I said enough about Magnum, okay. Today, too many people do the same thing. You could replace the name. The only way that differentiates one photographer from another is the subject. So that's not interesting to me, because then any schmuck can do it. I want to see somebody that has something in their soul that someone else it's hard for someone else to do. And that's what separates the really good ones from the ordinary. And, you work hard at that. But to me, you can't fake that. There are people that have, whether it's God-given talent or God-given intuition or whatever. I couldn't, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't be LeBron James. He's got the ability and he's got the drive. Otherwise, you couldn't do what he does. Like I had an assistant, an intern of mine, and he said at 60 he won't be taking pictures. So to me, it's okay. I heard another celebrity say recently that she likes to only do what she does for 3 years at a time. So switch from painting to this to that. I think she's afraid to take it to the end, but then you have to look at maybe she's going to be a Renaissance type person. She can do many things well. I can't. I don't even work a computer. I couldn't get a job at Walmart, maybe sweeping the floors. But I don't worry about that,
Let's go to another question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question.
if there is any. Yeah, here. Thank you.
Thank God we got the moderator.
Yeah. You mentioned in the beginning.
I
that
can't see you. Can I see you?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I still can't see you.
Focus.
The both of us. That's an old dirty joke. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, you mentioned in the beginning that when you started out that you were mimicking other photographers, you were looking at their work.
Mm-hmm.
For someone who would start in photography, getting into it, what should they mimic from you?
What should they what?
Mimic from you.
Mimic from me?
Yeah. What are the
Nothing.
takeaways?
Why would you want to mimic me?
Because you make amazing pictures.
Yeah, but you're not me and I'm not you. You could learn from me. And the only thing I would say to that is that, you look at something, you like it, and I did it now. You're going to come after me, so you better do better than this. Otherwise, you ain't shit. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah. That's a good one to end up this. Okay. Sorry.
Can I stand up? I'm tired of sitting. Oh, I know you. Okay, I'm not answering the question. Go on.
Is this on? I don't,
He's
is it
Scottish,
working?
so you won't understand a fucking word he says. Okay, go on.
Is this on? Yeah. Hi, Bruce. I think your body of work is some of the strongest I've ever seen. And as a photographer, I recognise the effort and work that you've put in over the decades. And I think to have, it kind of answers your question a wee bit, to get that close to certain subjects, there's an emotion that maybe is not spoken enough about you and your work, and
That's right.
and that's humility and humbleness to the subject in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I don't think that's spoken about your work enough. So my question is, as you've got better with age, or as time has passed, has Bruce Gilden peaked? Have you peaked?
I hope not. I can't answer that. It's scary, and I think about it. Okay? I mean, I would be a liar if I said I didn't think about it, but look, we're coming to near the end of the line. I mean, I also thought that maybe I can do a total 360 and start to take pictures from 300 feet away, something completely different. And I don't know how well I would do them, okay? But
Or flowers.
Oh, flowers. No, I wasn't thinking of flowers. Maybe trees. No, just kidding. But I don't know. There's still things I want to do it. I'm still capable to do it. Like the other day, I took about 250 pictures, both not very good outside at the inauguration day. In 20-degree weather, I had a bend, I had a strained calf, and I still pushed myself to do it. And that's, I think, what some people, you don't have to realize, because you can work as hard as you want and not be very good. There's separate issues. But I push myself. No matter how tired I am, I push. And I think that's very important. And I also know who I am, and I know what I want. So, I try to achieve it. Thank you. Go ahead.
Is it okay to go for one more?
I can't hear. Sorry. What?
My question is, a lot of your portraits, they have so much intensity in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're really maybe focused for a while, you can somehow get into a storytelling of it. Do you see yourself in them? When you count
I
those
see myself in all of my portraits. Those are the people I chose to photograph. Not everyone I've taken a portrait of is a good picture, but the good ones, I ask them for intensity, okay? If you don't have much intensity, I'm not going to take the picture. I tell them, thank you very much, you're too beautiful, or it's just not working, or whatever, okay? Because I don't want to waste their time or mine. I mean, we can drive around all day Miami and I take 2 pictures. I mean, another time I may take 8. And it gets really tiresome. So how long can you keep doing that? I'm still able to do it, okay? But I mean, it's tough. But you can't cheat yourself. Like for this picture, the fashion, he was smiling at me. I said, come on, I don't want to smile. You got to give me the hard look. So, I'm the director. I ask them to do what I want them to do. And either you can give it to me or you can't. So that's what it is. This one, we got him in Israel. He was so happy to be next to her. He had this shit-eating grin. So it's okay fashion. That was in a hotel room for Crash magazine.
But the ones that are not staged, the ones that you find on the streets, what is it?
Well, that's staged also, but I found them, yeah.
What is it that you're looking for?
I'm looking for a good photograph. I can't go more than that. Each person is different. This one, like I mentioned before, the guy looked like he's dying. So to me, that's about death. Another one, let me just think. I noticed that with the junkies, a lot of the ones I like better are waist up. So I do both. If I see both. If I don't, it's interesting because in all the years I've been a photographer, it's very rarely, I'm talking about candid work, am I confused, should I do a horizontal or a vertical? It's either horizontal or vertical. Once in a while, I am confused because I don't know which is going to work better. But look, I'm the director. I'm in control. And I accept responsibility. I get the accolades. I get the people don't like me. My daughter wasn't able to read a lot of comments on me. She used to cry. I don't read the comments, what people say about me, because they know shit. So, but the thing is, I take the blows. I'm fine with it. But I'm also confident enough to know when I do good work, and I can have 9 people in a row tell me, the head of the museum will not say, that's not good, and I'll tell them, you're wrong. Okay, so, I'm trying to get to a portrait. Is there anything else? Other questions? If we get to a portrait.
Yeah.
What makes it art? What makes an art?
What makes it art?
I don't know. You have to ask somebody else. I do pictures. I do them well. So I guess to me, I don't think about commercial. I mean, I could look at someone and I know they're very commercial, their style. Like there's a person that got into Magnum. I mean, to me, the pictures are totally commercial. I mean, not an artist. What makes art? I don't know. What makes a good picture, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about art or not art. You can call it what you want. To me, it's about what's a good photograph. Like, that's a great New York photograph. It has that cream in there. I can't do better than that. So, that I took 40, that's a great Haitian Caribbean picture. That's all about the street in the Caribbean. This is about the cemetery. It's like he's a musician playing her arm as a guitar. But that's how I see pictures. I don't see pictures just on one level. I see them on many levels. They remind me of something, And that's I think, what the strength is. Or this is The Prisoner, even though that's taken at a soccer stadium. He's got the shadow of the bars on him. That's my transvestite. My wife loves her. Any other questions? Don't have heavy questions here. What? Is that
Thank
it?
you. I think we should stop. And
Okay.
Yeah. Are you? Or?
I can do anything you want.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bruce Gilden.